You know, when it comes to battle rapping, you got to come with the puns. You got to come with the sauce. You got to come with the grit, the grind, the whole 9, 10, 11, 12. This episode kept me on my toes. It definitely showed who was willing to stand up to the plate and hit a home run and who was not hitting anything and batting like Aaron Judge in the playoffs. I will say though, interestingly enough, some people keep forgetting their lines, which I'm baffled by at this stage of the game. But also, I think that some of these players, some of these competitors, are judged on different scales than others that I'm not too keen and fond of. And it's interesting to see some people hold their punches. And in a competition like this, you do that, I definitely think that you about to go on. What's poppin', y'all? We back at the DeAndre way with the Rhythm and Flow Season 2, Episode 5 recap, where we going through the show talking about what's poppin' on Episode 5. Anywho, we gonna get right into it, y'all. This episode actually was probably my favorite episode to date. Now, I know I said that last time, but since Episode 3 has been getting better and better and better. Episode 1 and 2, wasn't really my favorites, but it picked up, which I'm happy about. We got to see a legend in the game, Eminem, come through, give his wisdom. He's get a little snippet in there. We got to see some of my favorites, well, my leading candidate favorite, J Taj, come through with the knockout. I still think he's winning the whole thing. Hopefully he does. He seems far and above, head over heels, the best competitor in the show at this point. He's been the most consistent, has had no faults, has had no weak spots shown in my eyes. That's just my humble opinion. But definitely it was interesting to see these matchups. I don't like how they did the matchups just because it should be kind of like a March Madness bracket standpoint to where the top ranked person should be playing the lowest ranked, the second top should be playing the second lowest ranked, and so on and so forth. I think they just match people up based on where they were from and maybe their style, which I get. You don't want two people in the same style going against or going through, and at the end you have two similar flows. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have two of the best people at the end rather than just two people with different styles. They did that last season, matching up really good competitors in the same round that probably should have made the end, but one of them couldn't because they had to go head to head against each other. So I was not a fan of that part. They should have just did the best versus the worst, the second best versus the second worst, the third best versus the third worst, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They should have ranked them or had them rank each other and then put each other against them like that. Because that would have made the lowest ranked person really pull out all the tools in their tool belt like Batman and go ham. But I think we saw a couple really, really good competitors have to go home a little too soon. So, which kind of doesn't really, it taints the show a little bit to a degree. And specifically with my boy J Taj versus Rome. Now, I think Rome was a top 5 competitor easily, but he had to go against, I think, which arguably my opinion, the best competitor in the show. But we get started with it. Eminem comes out. Everyone's, lit and excited and whatnot. And they're getting real hype about the situation. Eminem is one of the best rappers in the world. He is one of the best rappers in history. He is a legend. If you don't know who Eminem is, then you need to probably move off this page and go to his Wikipedia page, YouTube, study him, learn something because you must have been sleeping under a rock. I don't know what to tell you. Not enough words can be said about this brother right here. But we get to the 7, well, there's 14 remaining competitors, which is in the 7 battle raps, which is LG versus Jack, Sur Ali versus C4, Rome versus J Taj, Honey Gold versus Tia P, Detroit Diamond versus Dono, Yoshi Vintage versus Boond, and Dre TL versus Cali. A lot of interesting matchups. I think the ones I was looking forward to the most is Rome versus J Taj, Detroit Diamond versus Dono, and I'll say Sur Ali versus C4. Those are my 3 that I'm really kind of like, okay, let's see what's going down. Anywho, we start out with Dre TL's mom. She's in prison. She calls him right after Eminem comes out. And I don't think it was right after that. It's TV magic. She starts losing it. That's their favorite rapper and whatnot. Interesting because they're from Atlanta and Eminem's their favorite rapper, but that just shows you the magnitude of where he spreads. And Eminem gives his analysis of what battle rapping helped do for him. He actually lost his first battle rap competition, which is crazy. I couldn't believe it. Check it out on YouTube. Um, Eminem's battle rap that he lost. If you're interested in looking, um, which it was. One second, I'm just looking it up because I didn't know. He said he lost the battle rap competition, and he lost it to this rapper named Otherwise, and it was crazy because I didn't know about this thing. I heard about the Rap Olympics, but I didn't know Eminem was part of it. And so that's kind of how he got his start. But even when he lost, he still won. And I've never heard of Otherwise before in my life. So definitely goes to show it doesn't matter if you come first, second, third place in a competition. It just matters what you do after that to keep going. But anywho, we get a little snippet of Detroit Diamond and Dono going at it a little bit. They not seeming like they're best of friends and whatnot. They definitely getting a little hostile before their battle. And we get the host in the building. It's this guy named Smack, and the judges are Mr. Porter, Royce the 5'9", Eminem, and Lato. So no Luda in this episode, and no, dang, who's our other judge? No Luda, and no, why am I forgetting the other judge? But not Busta. This is bad, y'all. Who is our other judge? DJ Khaled. I forgot. DJ Khaled just be saying these quotes. I be forgetting even a judge in this thing, but he wasn't there and Luda wasn't there, which is kind of interesting enough. But maybe they had some more important business to take care of. Anywho, first up is J Taj and Rome. They're both from LA. That's why they matched them up together. Like I said before, I don't think they should have matched the two LA people up against each other just because they're from LA, but that's just what Netflix wanted to do, which I think was a foolish decision, is they both nice. So Rome goes first and he goes ham. He's sticking it to him. And then J Taj, he's next and he's going crazy back. It's definitely a tight battle. I like this best. This was the best battle of the whole episode, in my opinion. And it's so close that the judges have to deliberate. They get back and they're talking back and forth. Now, clearly, once you watch, it was better to go second in this instance, just because if they're two mano y mano, the one who gets the last word might have the last impact on it. And I think that's kind of what happens. And they picked J Taj as the winner, and J Taj shows love and respect to Rome. So shout out Rome, man. He's a real one. Check him out. I checked some of his music out. He's good. Next we have is Dre TL and versus Cali. And Cali goes first. And it's horrible, y'all. I'm sorry. It's horrible. He completely crashes out. If he was driving in the NASCAR Sprint Series, his car caught on fire, flipped over 5 times. The driver got ejaculated from the driver's seat, and the whole pit crew quit on the team. It was bad, y'all. He forgot everything, didn't even continue. And the thing about this is the same as the past 2 rounds. If you mess up, you just got to keep going. He just messed up and stopped. Like he couldn't even make up anything on the spot, which is tough. There's a lot of people around. You got the things you want to say and you can't say them. So you don't just want to say anything. I get that. But at the same time, you got to do something, coach. Like push him, move him, jump him, do something. If you don't know, that's from Remember the Titans. But yes, he crashed out terribly. And Dre TL came back real nice, embodied him, and put him in a coffin and shipped him off to the morgue. It was terrible. Dre TL wins easily, and this is when Eminem mentions he lost the Rap Olympics because he likes Cali and whatnot. And Eminem is actually keeping, he's being very positive to the losers in this whole episode, definitely keeping their heads up because he knows how that feels. you know, not getting embarrassed per se, but just losing in front of people and having, shame built to your face and name, and how to move on from that. So definitely it was good to have him there out of anyone for this specific competition. Next is Boond versus Yoshi Vintage. We got some coaching segments in there, and they about to get the battle started. And so Yoshi goes first, and she went in. So for a picture standpoint, Yoshi Vintage is this small girl with red hair. She's rambunctious, and Yoshi and not Yoshi, Boond is this tall, real tall, African looking dude. And so she starts going in, saying, "I'm gonna chop you down the side." She starts talking about him a little personally and whatnot. She's dissing the hell out of him, and they were like cool going into this. And apparently, she said some things that they agreed that she probably wouldn't say just because it got a little personal. And Boone Duke went in too on her. He's like, "All right, you want to go in like that? Well, I'm gonna go in even harder." So he went in on her, and he freestyled apparently the second half of his verse, but he killed it as well. It was a very close one. I definitely think she caught him off guard, and she kind of got him shook a little bit with some of the things that she said because, if you go, this is a competition, but it seemed like all the rappers were like supporting one another at the same time. I think this is one of those things where yes, it's you versus another person, but at the end of the day, it's you versus you, to where how you're going to deliver it rather than what, no matter what the other person says, it doesn't really matter to a degree. And they deliberated and they decided to pick Yoshi. And Boondook said that he could have been real disrespectful to her, but he didn't want to tear a black woman down. Now, no, no, no. This is a little interesting thing that happened. He said this. I respect to him for saying that, man. He could have went low after she went low. I think though this is a rap competition, nothing should be taken too personally. Like, yeah, you will get personal, but at the end of the day, it's a competition. You have to say and do what you need to win. Now, there's certain things that might be off limits to an extent. Maybe if someone has a abnormality, I think something was wrong with his hand, and she mentioned that, which is a little out of pocket, but if someone's short, if someone's lanky, if someone has a stutter, if someone doesn't has a speech impediment, I feel like those are fair game to use in a rap battle. You got to use anything you can to win, and that's what she did. Now, respect to him for having those morals, values, and principles, and he even said that on his way out. Like, look, I have things I'm stand on, and I'm not gonna say, and no matter what, if I even have to lose because of that, so be it. I respect that. I had something similar that I had to deal with on my show. But looking back, for me, I would do the things that I said I wouldn't do. Again, if given another opportunity. And I think he might say the same thing because this is a competition. This is a show. This is not life and death. This is not Mortal Kombat. You need to do whatever you need to do to win the game in this instance. Low blows, cheap shots, the whole nine. You got to do it. You got to do it. And I commend him, like I said, for having those morals and values and principles. But at the end of the day, it's not to that point. You're not bashing this girl in front of a political audience. You're not bashing this girl just to bash her. It's not unprompted. It's not just out of left field. It's for a reason, and you need to do what you need to do to win. So I hope he doesn't have any regrets about that still. Like I said, I salute him for having morals and values and whatnot, but she did him dirty, and, you know, he's free to punch back. That's all I'm going to say when it comes to that. Anywho, she wins. And next is Tia P versus Honey Gold. So Honey Gold, I'm not a big fan of Honey Gold's style. Like, I did initially like it because she had the characters and whatnot, but then she just keeps messing up. Every time she's messed up. And she was okay. But then Tia P went, murdered her, murked her. It was not even a contest, and Honey Gold's up out of here. Like, she was cool, but she just messed up way too many times. I'm surprised she even made it this far. So next we get LG versus Jax, and LG messed up pretty bad. It was a train wreck again, and another train wreck. It was it was the train got off the rails and it was like a 32 car train and every single one flipped over. It was terrible. And Jax messed up too. This was probably the worst battle out of all of them. But Jax messed up too. But she kept on pushing and kept going. She did not stop, unlike LG. And she had a nice little Rams Lions reference in there because it looks like they shot this past January when it was freezing up there. And so they added that in there, which was cool. Um, but then after the judges were talking, I'm like, look, y'all both messed up. I don't think both y'all should go on. They start going in again. And it's like a round two, unprompted. And the second part freestyle was way better by both of them. I'll give them that. They didn't quit, but I think they should have just added that to their first one. Maybe just didn't. You shouldn't need that little talk to kind of get you going. You got to get yourself going. And I don't know if they counted the second verse or not. They were like, should we count that? Should we not? Should we count it? And ultimately, Jax wins because LG just messed up when it was time to go more than Jax did. This is an example of two weak competitors going against each other and one of them making it compared to two strong competitors in um, in Rome and J Taj going against each other. So that's where I think the big discrepancy came from, and that's where I didn't like the part way this episode went. Next, we have Sur Ali versus C4, and everyone says their is plan is to intimidate the other. I'm gonna intimidate them. I'm gonna intimidate them. Well, duh. Like, what else you gonna do? What else you playing? You're gonna scare? You're trying to scare somebody? Like, duh. You're planning to intimidate them. I just kept. It felt like a record. Just keep going back and back and back and back and back. Anywho, C4 says he's from Brooklyn and Boston, which was confusing. Definitely was confused about that. Sur Ali was calling him all types of bitches, and I thought that was kind of lame because it's like, look, sure, she can say that to the dude, but if he said that to her to the extent, then it would not be looked at as the same, and it'd be looked like as a weak move. Like you can't be a dude just calling a girl a bunch of bitches in a rap battle compared to a girl saying it to you, and then you look like one. Like I didn't like that, and I definitely think that I just think it's weak, personally weak, because they can say whatever they want, but guys can't say whatever they want to them because it's looked at completely different. But then again, like I said before, I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say she did whatever she needed to do to win, and she knew that she could probably exploit that, and she did it. So actually, now that I think about it, I commend her for doing whatever she needed to do, regardless of what tactics, because it is a competition at the end of the day, and she did what she needed to do to win the game, and that's exactly what she did. And C4 killed it too, but he messed up at the end, and it sounded like the beat got cut off on him. So I don't know what that was. It kind of was a weird ending. So I don't know, but they gave it to Sir Ali. I wasn't at the time like, oh my gosh, excited about it, but now explaining it, she did what she needed to do, and by any means necessary. So I'll give you some claps on that, Sura. I'll give you some claps on that. Now the last battle is Detroit Diamond versus Dono. They both went in. They both murked the place. It's set on fire. The gasoline spilt all over the place, and it's burning to the ground. But I don't know who won. No, 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 no. I can't tell who won, but I think that they are going to give it to Detroit Diamond just because they are in Detroit and Eminem is there. They both were mano y mano. There's another example. Them both doing great. If either of them went against the previous two, Sur Ali or C4, they both would have won. In my opinion, Detroit Diamond, Dono, J Taj, and Rome all should have went on to the next round, but only two of them did. I think that was ridiculous, but and we don't know who won between these two. They cut it off at the end, but I think Detroit Diamond is going to win because the whole Detroit thing going down and whatnot. And I just think she has luckily that affiliate where they're filming at and Eminem being there. Like I just don't think he has it in him to kind of send the Detroit home because then look, he's from the city, man. It's gonna look bad for him if he do that. He gotta play a little identity politics here, you know. He gotta take one, but we'll see. That was the end of that episode. It ended on a cliffhanger, so we will get into episode 6 soon. we're ramping this thing through. We almost to the end, but definitely it's I like the pace that this thing is picked up to, and I'm excited to see who's gonna come out on top. I still got my money on J Taj. So let me know what y'all think of this episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. Till next time, y'all. Peace, blessings, deuces, and have a great rest of your day.